We had a Crime Stopper tip come in on this address.
Coming in or out.
Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a dark, intense crime thriller where trust is more dangerous than guns, and the real enemy might be wearing a badge. The movie is The Rip. This story follows a group of elite police officers assigned to a routine drug house raid, or at least that's what they're told. But what starts as a simple operation quickly turns into a deadly game of lies, betrayal, and survival. At the center of the story is Detective J.D., a sharp and experienced cop who believes in doing the job right. No shortcuts, no dirty money. Alongside him is his partner and mentor, Detective Dane, a hardened officer with a painful past and secrets of his own. Together, they've survived the streets for years. But tonight we'll test everything they believe in. Because hidden inside this house is not just drugs, but millions of dollars. And once that secret is exposed, every cop becomes a suspect. No one knows who to trust. No one knows who's lying. And before the night is over, blood will be spilled. So buckle up, because this is not just a police raid. This is The Rip. Let's get into the story. The story begins inside the Miami Police Department, where tension fills the interrogation room. Lieutenant Dane sits quietly as questions fly around him. Earlier that same night, Police Captain Jackie was brutally attacked and murdered by two masked men in what appears to be a professional hit. Surveillance footage shows her fighting back, wounded but determined. In her final moments, Jackie manages to send a text message to someone unknown, as if she knows this is the end. When asked what Jackie might have been investigating, Dane calmly replies that she may have been getting dangerously close to tracing a massive amount of illegal money. Soon after, FBI agent Byrne arrives with his partner to take control of the investigation. Del immediately begins questioning members of the department, including Detective Mike, Officer Numalolo, and Sergeant J.D. Byrne, who is also Del's own brother. Del makes it clear that the FBI suspects internal corruption. This accusation instantly angers J.D. He refuses to cooperate, openly insulting the FBI and criticizing their methods, claiming they don't understand how real police work happens on the streets. Del responds by reminding J.D. how Lieutenant Dane recently got promoted to his position, subtly implying favoritism or hidden deals. J.D. dismisses the comment and says he earned everything he has. He talks about losing his young son to cancer and how his marriage collapsed afterward, leaving him emotionally numb. He then brings up VCAT, the Violent Criminal Apprehension Team, a special unit that was shut down after its members were arrested for corruption. J.D. claims higher authorities controlled everything from above and later sabotaged the team to protect themselves. Del changes direction and brings up J.D.'s rumored relationship with Captain Jackie. J.D. immediately denies it, but Del clearly knows the truth. He suggests Jackie herself may have been compromised, possibly tied to illegal money. This pushes J.D. over the edge. Memories of Jackie flood his mind. Quiet moments, shared trust, unspoken feelings. Del delivers one final blow. Jackie was carrying a gun registered to J.D. when she died. J.D. snaps and attacks Del. Officers rush in as Dane calmly explains that it's just a fight between brothers. Later, J.D. stands alone in the washroom, shaken and angry. Del follows him, and the brothers argue privately. J.D. accuses the FBI of blindly chasing theories without understanding the department. Later, Dane admits how much he hates being a cop now, waking up every night aware of how little time he has left in life. As J.D. leaves, he repeats Jackie's favorite saying, "Just live to see another surprise." Outside in the parking lot, officers joke to relieve the tension. At the same time, Dane receives a text message about a stash house in Hialeah filled with cash. The district attorney's truck suddenly pulls into the lot. Mateo, a powerful figure and longtime friend of J.D., steps out, annoyed that officers are once again using his parking space. Dane greets him casually and pulls out a Crime Stopper tip describing a possible cash stash in Hialeah. They need to move immediately and bring the money-sniffing dog. When asked how much cash is involved, D&E initially says $250,000. When questioned further, he lowers the amount to $150,000. The team arrives at a quiet dead-end street. Lolo releases the dog, which instantly begins acting aggressively, far more than usual. J.D. worries about the lack of a judge-signed warrant and reminds everyone that the homeowner must give consent. D&E insists he'll find a legal loophole. They knock on the door, and a nervous woman named Desi answers. D&E explains they received a tip about illegal activity. When Desi asks for a warrant, they admit it isn't official. She initially refuses to let them inside. They tell Desi she only needs to sign a denial form and they'll leave immediately. Something feels off to her, but J.D. calmly reassures her that they're honest cops just doing their jobs. After hesitating, Desi signs the form, unintentionally granting them consent to enter. Once inside, the dog races upstairs and begins barking near the ceiling. Desi insists she has no drugs. The officers clarify they're not here for drugs. They're here for money. They pull down a ladder leading to the attic. The space is spotless, unusually clean. J.D. notices a loose wire and pulls it, revealing a hidden compartment inside the wall. Inside are large barrels. Sledgehammers are brought up as tension rises. D&E and J.D. question Desi, who claims she's temporarily living in her grandmother's house and knows nothing about the hidden space. J.D. notices her behavior change the moment money is mentioned. D&E explains that any money found on the property could make her legally responsible. Desi counters that the house isn't even in her name. D&E smiles slightly, acknowledging the loophole. Upstairs, the officers open one bucket labeled $150K. D&E immediately realizes it contains far more, over $1.4 million. As more buckets are revealed, the reality sinks in. There are at least 14 more containers, totaling nearly $20 million. The silence inside the house becomes heavy and unnatural, as if the walls themselves are listening. Every officer can feel it. Whatever is happening tonight is no longer just a routine bust. Outside, Mike notices something strange. One by one, the lights across the neighborhood suddenly turn on. There are no cars, no people, no movement, just glowing houses watching them. Then a porch light across the street begins blinking on and off in a steady rhythm. J.D. steps outside and watches closely. After a moment, realization hits him. The blinking light is Morse code. He quietly spells it out. The message is clear and insulting. Pigs. J.D. realizes someone is watching them, mocking them. He decides to investigate on his own. Inside, Mike reassures the others that everything is fine, but his voice lacks conviction. He secretly receives a message on his hidden phone. The team is assembling and moving soon. J.D. steps away to make a call, telling someone that the stash is supposedly only $150,000. Mike enters through another door and Desi immediately panics. She tells him the officers are planning to steal the money and that she overheard everything. Mike, already nervous, contacts command and repeats the same lie, that the amount is only $150,000. Just then, D&E walks in and catches Mike inside the house. D&E questions Mike about what he's doing. Mike claims J.D. asked him to report the strange lights and Morse code. D&E watches him carefully, his eyes cold and calculating. Meanwhile, in the garage, Lolo and Numa continue stacking the bags. Desi suddenly breaks down, screaming that they should arrest her instead. She'd rather be in jail than die in this house. The phone rings again. Numa answers. The distorted voice returns, now far more aggressive. They have 10 minutes. People are going to die. J.D. moves through the house and notices the television and electronics turning on by themselves. D&E quietly follows Mike, asking what Desi told him. Mike downplays it, saying she's just scared. D&E stops behind him and asks directly if Mike is a rat. Mike laughs nervously, but D&E's stare never breaks. He orders Mike back to the garage to help with counting. As Mike walks away, he secretly sends a voicemail warning that the team is about to hijack the money. J.D. receives a message confirming something terrifying. There was never any Crime Stopper tip. The entire operation was fake. Before he can react, a shadow grabs him from behind. At the same time, the garage door locks shut. The lights suddenly go out. Green laser beams flood the darkness, followed by a brutal eruption of gunfire. Bullets tear through the space. Desi collapses, bleeding and screaming. Lolo is hit and goes down hard. The gunfire slowly fades. Numa rushes to Lolo, realizing she's wounded but alive. D&E and Mike chase one of the attackers outside. Another suspect appears, trying to speak, but J.D. intervenes. The man reveals he's cartel, but not responsible for the attack. He connects them with his boss, who confirms none of their people opened fire. This is something else, a chess game, and tonight the cops are winning by accident. They return to the garage. Lolo is shaken but alive. When told the cartel wasn't behind it, Numa jokingly says, "Then this money is really free." J.D. snaps back, asking if she's ready to steal it. Lolo bitterly explains how much child support she owes and how little the job gives back. J.D. finally reveals the truth. There was no Crime Stopper tip. D&E fabricated it. Jackie knew about the stash and was killed because of it. D&E explodes in rage, accusing J.D. of being VCAT, of recognizing corrupt cops and disappearing for 30 minutes. J.D. fires back, saying everyone suspects Jackie was killed from the inside, and that D&E himself hates being a cop now. The argument turns physical until the others separate them. J.D. storms out. D&E orders the counting finished immediately. Mike locks himself inside the bathroom, panicking, unable to find his phone. J.D. calls Mateo again. Mateo says he's on the way, but not with a full team. Most officers just want to go home. When J.D. tells him the amount is nearly $20 million, Mateo goes silent. The counting finishes. D&E writes the total on a card and shows everyone, forcing them to memorize it. Just then, a phone rings again. Outside, they realize every car except one has been destroyed. Candles suddenly light up around the house, casting eerie shadows. They load the bags into the remaining vehicle. Mateo arrives. D&E is clearly uncomfortable but allows the bags into Mateo's truck. He orders Numa to stay behind with Desi and Lolo to wait for emergency services. J.D. confronts D&E for calling Mateo. Another fight almost breaks out, but Mateo stops them and pushes everyone into the truck. Inside the moving truck, tension is unbearable. Guns are drawn. The bags sit between D&E and J.D. like a ticking bomb. D&E demands to know where they're taking the money. Mateo gives a vague answer. J.D. calls the major, saying D&E already contacted him. D&E denies it and points out that Mike said he didn't. Mike suddenly accuses D&E of planning to steal everything. He reveals that Desi overheard D&E lying to the major about the amount. D&E calmly dismantles the accusation. He explains he planted false numbers on purpose. Everyone heard a different amount. When the caller threatened them over $150,000, D&E immediately knew who leaked it. Mike. D&E admits he's been lying all day to test loyalty. He finally reveals Jackie told him about the stash before she died. J.D. asks why he wasn't told. D&E says the plan only worked if J.D. didn't believe him. J.D. asks Mateo why there's been no radio traffic. Who's tracking them? Mateo shrugs it off. Mike suddenly grabs J.D.'s phone and calls the number he's been texting. Mateo's phone starts ringing. Everything stops. Mateo pulls a gun and shoots at Mike, barely missing him. The truck crashes to a halt. Chaos erupts. Mateo confesses everything. He and his people killed Jackie because she knew about the stash. The major calls J.D., already tracking their location. Federal vehicles block the road. Byrne appears, ordering everyone out. Mateo begs them to stick together and split the money. J.D. reminds him the major is still listening. Mike grabs a bag and runs. Mateo escapes in another car. J.D. chases Mateo. D&E chases Mike. Shots ring out across the open land. The bag Mateo drops is empty, decoy money. J.D. finally corners Mateo on a deserted road. Mateo offers him cash. J.D. asks if that was the price of Jackie's life. J.D. shoots Mateo dead. Nearby, D&E tackles Mike and arrests him instead of killing him. The real money, still hidden in buckets, reaches command safely. The major confirms the count. Every dollar matches. For once, the truth survives the night. At dawn, the survivors stand outside, exhausted. Desi is released into DEA custody. J.D. apologizes to D&E, and the brothers finally embrace. Desi asks D&E about his tattoo again. "Are we the good guys?" she asks. D&E tells her it was the last thing his son ever asked him before dying of cancer at age 10. "We are," she replies, "and always will be."